Hello students, in this part we will discuss some carbon chemical compounds of carbon such like as ethanol and ethanoic acid. In this part we will discuss on ethanol. What is ethanol? It is commonly called alcohol. It is commonly called alcohol, and its chemical formula is CH3CH2OH. The melting and boiling point of ethanol is, or we can say that ethanol has 156 Kelvin melting point and 351 Kelvin of boiling point. So we can say that ethanol has 156 melting point, Kelvin melting point, and boiling point of ethanol is 351 Kelvin. Ethanol is a good solvent. Due to this property, it is used to prepare many medicines. Due to good solvent, ethanol is used to prepare many medicine such as tincture iodine. Tincture iodine is a solution or is a mixture of ethanol and iodine. This medicine is used before injection. This is used also to clear or to before the injection to rub the skin, so that there is no bacteria, no microbes enters in our body through the injections. Tincture iodine, syrup, many syrups, and tonic. Due to good solvent, the ethanol is used many medicines such like as tincture iodine, tonics, and syrups. We can say that cough syrups. It is soluble in water in all proportion. The ethanol, or we can say that pure ethanol, the pure ethanol, that ethanol which doesn't contain any amount of water, the pure ethanol without water is called absolute ethanol. A small quantity of use of or intake of absolute ethanol or pure ethanol is lethal. A small quantity of pure ethanol intake is very dangerous. We can say that very dangerous, or a person may be lethal. It means it is very dangerous. Although the use of ethanol is condemned, yet it is widely spread it is widely spread socially. It means it is used for fashion. A small quantity of pure ethanol is used, the person becomes drunkenness. A small quantity, the use becomes a person drunkenness. Or the person loses coordination on his body. This is due to lack of metabolic processes such like as intake, ingestion, digestion, excretion. These processes may be becomes very less quantity, or we can say that lose control on CNS, central nervous system. Due to this, it means lack metabolic processes as well as lose control of CNS. Due to this, the person becomes stupor. The person is stupor. It means this process is also known as hallucination. In this condition, the person who has already used drink, that he thought there is no one standing all over its surrounding. It means this is the condition. He is the person who has taken all right to depression. This is used to lose in depression. Although this activity, the use of ethanol is condemned, but it is fashionable use by the person, so it is very widely spread in our social. Second one is to prevent the misuse of ethanol. Although we know that ethanol is a good solvent, so it is widely used in many industries. While it is prepared in the industry at a large scale, to prevent the misuse of ethanol, it is mixed with a small quantity of poisonous substance. Such like as methanol and copper sulfate. As we have already discussed, ethanol is a good solvent. Due to this good solvent property, ethanol is used in many medicines and at a large scale in industries. While it is prepared in the industries to prevent the misuse of ethanol, it is mixed with some small quantity of poisonous substance such like as methanol or copper sulfate, as well as it is mixed with a dye and dyed to identify to identify the not usable ethanol. Why it is not usable? It means not drinkable. This type of ethanol which is mixed with methanol or copper sulfate, it is dyed. This is not fit for drinking. And the ethanol which is not fit for drinking, this type of ethanol is called denatured ethanol. The ethanol which is not fit for ड्रिंकिंग, वो इथेनॉल जो पीने के लायक नहीं है, किस प्रकार की? व्हेन इट इज मिक्स्ड विद स्मॉल क्वांटिटी ऑफ मिथेनॉल एंड कॉपर सल्फेट. दिस टाइप ऑफ मिथेनॉल that is called denatured ethanol. This type of ethanol is used at industrial level but not fit for drinking. Which one? Denatured ethanol. If methanol is so poisonous, if a small quantity of pure methanol is used, the person may die. Methanol, its chemical formula is CH3OH. Is very dangerous to use. A small quantity of pure methanol, if it is used, the person may die or permanently blind. How the person may die? Because when a small quantity of methanol is used, this methanol oxidized in liver and changed into methanol. The methanol in liver oxidized and changed or we can say that convert into methanol, and this methanol coagulate the cell, coagulate the liver cell, such like as a boiling egg. If a small quantity of methanol is used, the person may die. Why it is the person die? Because methanol when goes into the went into the liver, it oxidized, and it oxidized methanol change into methanol. This methanol coagulate the liver cell, just like as a boiling egg. The person may die, or maybe the person permanently blind because this methanol damage the optic nerves. Permanently blind क्यों होगा? Due to damage the optic nerves, and due to optic nerves damage, the person may permanently blind. So this type of ethanol is not used. That ethanol is called denatured ethanol or denatured alcohol. These are the physical properties of ethanol. And next, chemical properties of ethanol. These all processes which we have already studied, these are the physical properties. And now, what are the chemical properties of ethanol? Chemical properties of ethanol. What are the chemical properties of ethanol? The first chemical property, what would happen when ethanol react with the sodium? Sodium is a metal. Ethanol react with the sodium, it produces sodium ethoxide and hydrogen gas. Ethanol reacts with sodium. It produces, or we can say that it produces sodium ethoxide and hydrogen gas. We have already studied in chapter 3rd and 2nd. When acid react with metal, they produce metal salt and hydrogen gas. So on the behalf of this, we can say that ethanol is slightly acidic because ethanol reacts with metal, sodium metal, it produces metal salt and hydrogen gas. How we can prepare it? Ethanol, CH3, CH2OH. This is the ethanol. When ethanol reacts with the sodium, Na, sodium, it produces sodium ethoxide, CH3, CH2ONA. This is the sodium ethoxide. Plus hydrogen gas. We balance the chemical equation. This contains 2 and this one is also 2. So on this processes, we can say that ethanol is slightly acidic. Ethanol is slightly acidic. How we can say that ethanol is slightly acidic? Because we know that the chemical substance which react with metal only produce hydrogen gas and salt, that is acid. So this is slightly acidic. But ethanol has both the type of property, slightly acidic and slightly basic. It is also slightly basic. Why ethanol is slightly acidic? Ethanol loss hydroxyl group. On behalf of this loss of hydroxyl group, it is slightly acidic. And how the ethanol is slightly basic? Ethanol react with oxygen and produce, or we can say that in ethanol oxygen react with other and produce OH negative ions, and due to production of hydroxide negative ions, these are basic. This is the first chemical property. What would happen when ethanol react with sodium? When ethanol react with sodium, it produces sodium ethoxide and hydrogen gas. How you can show the presence of hydrogen gas? Just like as take a burning matchstick near the mouth of test tube in which this process occurred, and if the matchstick continue burn with pop sound, that shows the presence of hydrogen gas. This is the first chemical property of ethanol. And the second property of ethanol is denaturation. What is denaturation? Second property of chemical ethanol is denaturation. Properties, or we can say denaturation property of ethanol. How the ethanol show dehydration, not denaturation, dehydration. The process in which any substance, any compound lost water, that is known as dehydration. When ethanol is heated at 443 Kelvin, in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. This sulfuric acid lost water molecule and change into two molecule of ethene. The heating process of ethanol at 443 Kelvin in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. In this reaction, the loss of water molecule and ethanol convert into ethene, such like as ethanol CH3 CH2OH. It is heated at 443 Kelvin in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. Due to this sulfuric acid, it lost water molecules through the ethanol and it changed into ethene with loss of water molecules. And the process in which any compound loses water, that is called dehydration. So we can say that what would happen when ethanol is heated in presence of sulfuric acid, we can say that dehydration process can be take place. These are the two chemical properties of ethanol. One more important thing is ethanol is a good fuel. So it is used in vehicles as a fuel, because when it is burnt, when it is combust, it produces water vapors and sulfur dioxide. So we can say that ethanol is a good fuel. This is due to, or we can say this produce on burning CO2 with water vapors. So ethanol is a clear fuel that is used in vehicles. Therefore it is used in vehicles as a fuel. Second, next thing is how we can prepare ethanol. Ethanol is prepared by the fermentation process of molasses of sugarcane. Ethanol is prepared by the fermentation process of molasses of sugarcane. We can say that with yeast powder. We can take some quantity of sugarcane juice, sugarcane molasses, and mix it small quantity of yeast and make it airtight. The container should be, must be make it airtight and left it for undisturbed 5 to 7 days. After 5 to 7 days later, when we heated it, some water vapors collected, and that is the ethanol. What is fermentation process? Fermentation process. A process in which, or we can say the process in absence of air, absence of oxygen, in which complex substance change into simpler. The process in which complex substance convert into simpler in absence of air. In absence of air or oxygen. That process is called fermentation process. In next part we will study some chemical properties of ethanol and ethanoic acid.